I was going to say today's a really. There must be a little bit of a hangover from the festival at the weekend of being here to talk about your film. I heard it meant amazing.
Yeah, it was
I had
good,
some friends who were there, had a great time.
Phenomenal. But I did 18 gigs in 4 days or something.
What?
Well, because the point is we have a residency and we all live in a hotel and I write things for people and I write them in advance. And then when you're in the room, people go, oh, apparently you wrote something for such and such. Go on, give me something. And then they all get sung back to you. And then they say, well, why don't you come and read it at the gig? And then, like at 1 a.m. on the Thursday night, Efterklang came over and said, we want something. And I was like, I don't know how much I've got left in the tank, lads. So I ended up opening for Efterklang. That's how this festival is. You just...
Beautiful.
It was magical, wasn't it?
It was pretty special, yeah.
DJ'd on the Saturday.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, it was good crack.
So it's good to have those kind of other side hustles going on.
Yeah, total hustle, yeah.
But I wondered if there was an element of writing the screenplay for this almost kind of connected to that in a way in terms of writing for something and for someone. Obviously the book, Shy, and this character is very kind of not referenced that much in the book, but kind of sort of purposing the story from a different perspective with Cillian in mind for that role.
Yeah.
Was that
100%. You're right at it. That's my mentality. The trust economy. Here, have this, play with it, take a bit. You know, like when I'm writing lyrics for people, I don't write song lyrics. I just respond to the music, and they take a little bit of it, drop a little bit. Sometimes they read the whole thing. Yeah. Like Kate, this is the kit. Kate was like, I'll just read it. Read a page of A4. I was like, oh well, we could edit that if you want. She's like, no, that's great. So this is the thing. We have an existing relationship. I'm really interested in trying to write for someone you know really well and what kind of pressures that will put them under, especially because we wanted to write about a person under an extraordinary amount of pressure, personally and politically and professionally, and also from within. Bespoke for you, but very much connected to previous work we've done, growing out of it. I love that. We're just following a thread, aren't we? And that's what trust between collaborators enables.
Yeah. Who started the idea of this particular project?
It was an ongoing conversation that started from our first collaboration, and then we just became friends through that. And it's just a constant, you know, the way you can just share music and books and everything so instantly nowadays. And we've a lot of shared interests, and it just kept kind of rolling over. You know, Mary Hickson, who's like the heart of that festival in Cork, you know, she's very, very much part of the work that we do together. And then it kind of rolled over into the idea of maybe, you know, Max hadn't written a script for a feature film, and could there be something, like I'd read Shy before it came out, but I never anticipated or even thought that it could be a film. Yeah. And it wasn't until we began to move into that world of maybe it's about a carer or a social worker, and then Max was, I remember the phone call, and he remembered that character. Of course, I had forgotten in the novel, and then just swung the light around to shine it on Steve, and the script happened really, really quickly, and I
wanted to write a script because people keep on adapting my stuff, and I'm like, yeah, have it, don't worry, I don't want to write a script. And I was like, actually, I do. Like, you should try everything once, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It'll be more than once.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I mean, I saw the film a while ago and then saw it again recently, and it stayed with me between those times of kind of staying it. The film is incredible to watch, but I think it's a really important film as well, just in terms of both my in-laws are teachers, were teachers, my sister-in-law is currently a teacher and stuff, and I think that we take them for granted, and I think that the film does so many things with regards to that world of how much people give themselves to, you know, for others in a way. Why did you want it to focus on him, and why did you want him to be a teacher?
Well, I guess it had to be the world of the novel, and you know, the responsibilities that come with being a head teacher, headmaster. My grandfather was a headmaster. Both my parents are retired teachers, so I'm very much a product of that that world. And I didn't, of course, appreciate any of it growing up or have any interest in what they did, or other than say that's exactly what I'm not going to do. But now I have deep appreciation for what they did. And then I keep saying this, but the idea of being in front of loads and loads of teenagers all day long, and then coming home looking after your own teenagers for the rest of the day, it's just mental, really, and that rolls over the whole. No wonder, like, they need holidays. You know what I mean? It's insane. Anyway, so that was very important to me. And then what Max talked about in terms of putting characters under pressure, that's like, I just adore that, because for me, like, a drama really comes from a crisis. No matter how tiny the crisis is, it's always from some sort of crisis. And then you can explode up to something huge or make it very minute. And this is quite kind of, in sort of, I suppose, in movie making terms, quite banal what's happening here. But thematically, it's vast.
Yeah, it's powerful though.
Yeah, and I think that you could mine real drama from this character. And then Max's kind of brilliant idea of, like, piling stuff on him, also to put it in one day, so that piles it on for the audience as they're watching it and experiencing it, and you keep on turning the screw on these characters. And then, you know, Shy is having his own terrible day, but they're existing kind of around each other and they can't reach each other. So it's just a fantastically structured idea. And I didn't do hardly any preparation other than, like, just throw myself into it, and without just to be buffeted by what was happening and just to be responsive rather than having any set idea of how I was going to do the scene.
And I guess that was helped by the fact that you shot it in kind of chronological order, so you're kind of like, you're able to absorb all those things as you're kind of going through them as well.
And we lived with the lads for a week and a half before we shot.
Wow.
Just doing exercises and getting familiar, and I'd be writing them new dialogue, and then we'd be filming the interviews, and then we'd be like, we could use that, and then the kids would be like kicking off in another part of the school, and we'd be like, they're real, they're hunting him through the school, you know.
Yeah. Jay's amazing.
Unbelievable.
Shy.
Yeah.
They're all just in. Where did you cast them from? Were they kind of just? I mean, it's the most extraordinary collection of young talent in there.
Every one of them.
Yeah.
Jamie's phenomenal.
I mean,
Riley's phenomenal. Tut is incredible.
But this just shows you how many brilliant young actors there are out there. It was a massive casting.
Yeah,
I think 3,500 kids. Tim saw tapes of. Robert Stern cast it. We kept, narrowing it down. And then when Jay read, it was just immediate consensus. His dad, I don't know if you spoke to him, his dad works in, like, alternative education.
No.
Runs a school for excluded kids. And
wow.
His dad's amazing.
I ended up having a Zoom with his dad and him, and, like, after it was like total serendipity, and, like, but just he grew up with that, so it was wild.
Jay's the sound was off on my laptop when I saw Jay's audition tape, and I started crying, and rang Cillian and said, "Well, it's in, isn't it?" But just from the way he went, he sort of guarded, but then there was a little twinkle of mischief, and then he put his hood up and was like, I'm not doing it," and I was like, "Oh my God, that is Shy."
It's also one of the other things I love about it is the music, and it's brilliant. Like, I just spoke to Jeff and Ben, who I love. Yeah. But that, and they're so great because it's like we didn't think there was much needed for it, kind of thing, and it's true because it really made me remember that idea of, like, being that age and kind of like locking yourself in your room and cranking it up, and it kind of feeling like your room was full of friends, but it was the music, and you felt kind of that you'd found your tribe, even just in listening to one song from someone.
Oh, it's hard to explain.
Yeah.
Like, if I ran into Fotek, I'd he'd be like, "Back off, dude," but I'd have to say, like, you literally
saved me,
carried me through.
Yeah.
And I was on my own in the world of your production and your beats and what felt to me like a new frontier.
But you capture that. Did you write that in the script? Was all that
tunes
the
are all
drum
in
and
the
bass
script.
sort of stuff?
Yeah,
in the
every
script?
single tune is
I mentioned it,
yeah.
And actually, one of the reasons I put Kruder and Dorfmeister deep shit in at the beginning, because it's one of the greatest tunes ever, but also because I had a really cool physics teacher, Mr. Anderson, I think his name was, a real dude, and he used to make me mixtapes. And he was into that kind of, like, he got me into Pharoah Sanders and, like, Thelonious Monk, but then also Courtney Pine, and then I was getting into hip hop, and then we were like, well, look, our worlds are meeting here, because it was the sort of birth of the sort of trip hop moment. And then when those early Metalheads records came out and stuff, we were both like, a new era is upon us. Me and my physics teacher, and I was totally shit at physics, so he was like, okay, enough now. periodic table. Or whatever. No, that's chemistry. That's how I was in physics.
Can you relate to that element as well?
I was consumed by it, like back in '96. Absolutely consumed by it. Was the only thing that was of any importance to me, really, back then.
Do you think that's the point of our relationship? Is that actually we both should have been musicians
We're
or
both
want to be musicians?
There's still time, guys. There's still time. Yeah.
We are pleased to announce today.
Yeah, headlining the Sounds from a Safe Harbour Festival next 2026.
But every generation will have that version
totally.
of it, you know. And if you but Max said something really smart as well, because he was saying that, you know, there's a 30-year gap, and the 90s all of a sudden are so fashionable and cool.
Yeah.
And if only we had kept our 90s clobber for our kids now, they, you know, but we threw it all out. So there is a kind of a cyclical thing where you give it 30 years, and the music and the clothes are all of a sudden everybody wants to wear. The kids want to wear them.
It's weird, isn't it? Because we were so tribal. You know, you see a metal kid coming down the road a mile off, see an emo kid, you see a junglist or a skater or whatever it is. Like, my mate was just like, you could, from 30 yards, he was speed garage. With his bomber and his record bag. But because those tribes are now manifesting, we're styling ourselves, kids are styling themselves entirely online, but look almost identical in the real world, so-called real world. It's so interesting to have these sounds back.
Yeah.
You know, my son is saying to me, you know, we're sharing hip-hop tastes. He's understanding that production techniques from the 90s are coming back into contemporary hip-hop in a way he really likes. You know, it's the most... Well, the reason it's in the book, and I'm so pleased it's maintained its strength in the final film with Ben and Jeff's help, is that his pain and his depression and his uncertainty are absolutely organically tethered to his joy. And that what that music creates for him is simultaneously a refuge and an escape, and also a clarification, you know, of the fact that there is uplift.
Yeah.
There is joy, you know.
I really love the simplicity of the world without technology as well, that we kind of get reminded of. There's something almost kind of really beautiful in that, you know, in terms of like, you're not kind of swayed by things or kind of tempted by things. It's just, there's a really lovely purity to
They're
it.
very with each other because there's no phones.
But yet, the same stuff is still around. The same stuff existed then, exists now. It has always existed, you know. And we rightly put an awful lot of the blame at the you know, at social media and all of that. But it was always there.
Yeah.
It's just now it's like exacerbated or
different
magnified.
Teeth,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Just what you were saying there, isn't there something beautiful in sharing music with your kids though, and a shared experience of watching music?
I was telling this to Sims.
So
go on, I interrupt
no, I
you.
just went to see Tyler the Creator with my son, and I think he's more excited than I am about the Radiohead gigs and stuff. It's amazing. It's like finding kind of common threads with each other is so beautiful, you know, where you sort of feel what you're like constantly searching for those things that you have in common that you can have conversations about, and music.
It's music.
It's beautiful.
Well, particularly for me, my son being into hip hop means the world to me because he's learning about what you learn about America and the West and the ills of the West. The you know, the evil empire, the death industry of American inequality and violence and masculinity through the lens of intelligent hip hop and what it means, what the diaspora is, and how sounds travel and how different musical traditions come in. You know, my son is coming down to me and saying, have you heard the new Kendrick? He's sampling like weird bossa nova shit. You must love that. And I'm like, I do. I do love it. And then he goes, but he's really clever because then he goes, tickets are on sale for Kendrick and Carter.
You mentioned Sims as well. I mean, it was funny, Ben and Jeff going, we didn't know it was hard, first of all.
That's what Ben told me in the film.
Yeah.
They were working on the film for months.
And then someone
said,
oh, going to get Sims to do a song, and they were like, oh, that's cool. Why Sims? And they're like, because
Isn't she phenomenal?
Oh my God.
And isn't the tune just to imagine how I have to pinch myself, right? I wrote a novel about a depressed teenager who the people around him want him to hold on, don't leave too soon. And he's got a backpack of rocks on his back, and his one true love is drum and bass. And now we have that tune in the world. We aren't we just?
It's because when he wrote the script, Max said, like, when he was like, and sure, imagine we could get Sims.
Did you?
Yeah.
I wrote it with her in mind, but only because I kind of needed someone that had that kind of introvert,
yeah.
but also like incredible strength. But also like one of her cut interviews, you know, I wrote them all these interviews, and her one at the end of it, they go, okay, enough about work. Tell us about you, what you're into, and she just goes, music, and then just lists like Barrington
like
Levy, but obviously like bit of UK hardcore at house, and then a bit, like she's so perfect. She is Shola, and I think her performance, to have that performance and now this tune, we just feel like the luckiest people.
She's extraordinary.
How did she? What was the casting process for that? Did you go hard with it, or did she
for Shola?
Yeah.
No, we just sent her the script and hoped that she would say yes, and she did like straight away, and couldn't believe it. And then she came in and just absolutely.
I don't know if are we allowed to talk about it? I'm sure we're allowed to talk about this. She filmed her scenes. That extraordinary scene where she's trying to break up the fight.
Yeah.
And she went off on the night after that and did the headline Glastonbury.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
She is next.
She was rehearsing that show all through while we
she
were
was
shooting.
coming in.
But we were shooting in Somerset, so it was extremely
close,
convenient. But
no private choppers involved.
I love what you say is kind of the film's kind of not complete until it's kind of lived with an audience, and it's been out there. It's been received. I mean, amazingly well for people. How is the film now that it's been it's been shared with the world? How does it feel for you?
It's funny. We're sort of, the ripples are starting to come back to us very slowly from people who you see in the film, like teachers and carers and social workers. It's beginning to come back to us, slowly and gradually, because it's not out in the cinema till Friday. It's not on the platform till October. But yet already, people are feeding back to us, and that feels really. That's all you want.
I texted him last night saying, "He's still awake. I just want to tell you this one thing." And I rang him because someone had stopped me outside the screening last night. Two people, one who'd worked in a pupil referral unit, who said it was just. He's like, "How long did you spend in one of those units to get it so right?" And I didn't. So that's just a real affirmation and joy to hear. And then someone had come over and talked about their experience of being an addict and said they think it's the best representation they've seen on screen. And that is literally why we made it.
Amazing.
And to have it going to be able to be reached by such a large number of people. And almost everyone that's come in to interview us this morning is almost like a tuning fork at the beginning of the conversation, is saying, I just want to quickly say, my parents are teachers, or I used to work in this field. Because we all do, that's the point, but you'd never guess it.
You never stop as well. They never stop being teachers.
They
John
don't
and
stop.
Sylvia are like,
It's not something that you kind of announce as. But I was in New York doing one of these junkets, and 4 journalists in a row came in with parents as teachers. Coincidentally.
But look how we've undervalued them, underpaid them, discredited them, like how little support we've given as a family of connected, professionals around the world, like the funding cuts, everything, like the mental health crisis in education now, like, I talked about this last night. Do you remember Rishi Sunak did that like weird campaign, and it said your next job could be in tech?
Yeah. Is that our time up? I love that.
You got to keep that in.
Well, our next job could be in celebrations.
Yeah, our next job could be in disco. Absolutely. Well, that finishes the point better than I would have done, yeah.
I was getting wrapped up anyway there. But
why not your next job could be teaching? I know there is a campaign to recruit new teachers and everything, but what are we doing if we are not making these people, and same as carers, nurses, midwives, palliative carers, the heroes of our society, in the narratives we tell about how our society works?
Well, I think that's...
No new billionaires.
This is one of the many things that your film does, I think, is start those conversations. And it's a very, very important film and a very brilliant film. So,
thanks.
Thank you so much for your time.
So nice to chat. Yeah.